All right. Very excited today to be joined by my guest on our Instagram series, Ty Corsie. Uh, this guy is killing it down in the Lower Mainland, and what a privilege and an honor to have him on the show today. He's with David and Ty, Holmes, Royal LePage, Wollstonecroft. Ty, thanks so much for joining us today. Great to finally catch up with you.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate the invite and the time, and hopefully we can touch on a few things and teach a few things to out there. So
I know you're a busy guy, so I won't keep you too long. But actually, I wanted to ask you first time, just watching your stories the last couple of days, and you had an interesting transaction with your buyers that were looking for homes in Walnut Grove, and you found a property and put an offer in. And I saw your story last night. Just maybe you share a little bit about that. And obviously, you guys are different than us here in Calgary, as you can't have the dual agency. So your seller, the house you approached, was self-represented. Maybe just fill us in on the details of that.
Yeah. So you're allowed dual agency. Is that correct?
We are. Yeah.
We are not. So that disappeared about 5 months ago. At the beginning of this year, it started. So no more dual agency. So my buyers sold their house. They were in a situation where, of course, there's no inventory coming up because of COVID. So they decided they want to be in a particular neighborhood. That neighborhood only has 86 houses in these particular streets that they want to be on. So I put together a letter, hand signed everyone, saying that their address was handpicked by my buyer, and I'd love the opportunity to come inside and see if it works for them. Well, of course, somebody phoned me up, and we walked through his house, and it was absolutely perfect. We had to be really careful with how we proceed from here because I only represent my buyers. I can't give the sellers any advice. Nothing can be communicated. I be really careful how I communicate with them. It's really got to be all by email, so we have a paper trail. So we walk through the house. It works perfect. The sellers give us a rundown. Of course, he's the builder of the property, and his property is the best on the street, as you can imagine. And we made an offer on it. So we made an offer over $50,000 more than what the last sale was in that whole neighborhood. And he countered us to over $250,000 over that. So it shows you that really everybody needs an agent. I truly believe that. Sorry, there's a sun glare. Is that better?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're good. No worries.
Everybody needs an agent representing them, and this is an absolute, just a perfect example of why that is. The seller needs to sit down and do his homework, right? He needs to hear what the sales are. No agent in that area will take the listing for what he countered our offer at. So he's dreaming, obviously, and it's too bad because my people really want this house and they paid a premium for it. They wrote a nice cover letter to him. I mean, the sales in the area just were like 1.3. We offered 1.450 with a huge deposit with kind of open dates for him, and he countered to 1.675. So there's nothing even close to that in the area, right? So we just decided to walk away. I was very careful with how I responded to the gentleman because everything, of course, is by email. So I have to be careful on advice. I can't give him any advice.
Right.
If you were to give somebody advice right now with the no agency rules, counsel will come up and take my license away within seconds, right? So I still feel like when I was doing dual agency, what you guys do, even that nowadays is very, very
tricky.
Risky. It's very risky. I truly believe to sell real estate the way it should be is everybody should have an agent working for them. Mm-hmm. Sellers should have their own. Buyers should have their own. Because at the end of the day, I mean, an agent is always trying to work for a seller just to try to make the deal go, right? So the buyer needs to have some background checks, some homework, check the title, check the PDS, all of that stuff that I did for my people. And yeah, they counted us to over $250,000 over what we offered. So that was a big, let's put it this way, that was a big counter offer.
Yeah. I know. I laughed when I heard you say that. I loved your line, actually. So needless to say, we got in the car and drove away.
we just took off. He has since reached out, just a quick message, is there anything back? But like I said, our foot's down. We're not entertaining. I'm not making my friends overpay. And we'll just see what happens from here. But case in point, everybody needs, I truly believe everybody needs an agent working for
Yeah.
them. This is a perfect point of that, right? If he had 3 agents come in his home, all 3 would tell him exactly what I offered, or probably less. And then he'll probably get his ducks in a row and realize, right? So that's the next step for him. He'll probably have somebody in, give him a price, and then he'll probably call me back.
Yeah.
Which maybe we'll lower offer by that time, right? So
right. Yeah.
people feel a little, they just feel a little bit insulted, I guess, that the greed sets in. That's the problem with buying an off-market listing, is that you're always going to overpay. And I told my people that anybody that buys an off-market listing, you will always pay a premium because it's had no exposure, right? So the seller automatically thinks that it's highly desired. So that was the situation that transpired over the last few days, but put a lot of work into that one. Did a lot of research, got them pre-qualified, went to the city, checked everything out on that particular house, and this happened. So that was like days worth of work to come out with that. That's
well, I wanted to ask you, obviously we're in interesting times right now, Ty, and me being in Calgary and you being in Langley in the Lower Mainland area. I mean, for you, a guy that's been in this for a while and successful at it, have you ever seen anything like this that we've gone through with the COVID?
No, I haven't seen anything like this. This is my 17th year. I got in real estate right out of high school, and went through markets, started just working 1-bedroom condos. That's all I worked. I was the condo king for the first 5 years, just to develop a bit of a client database. And then from there, sold them into townhomes. And then 2008 hit, and the economy took a crash. But honestly, I mean, our market was so strong. We recovered in less than a year, as I think everybody else did too, right? I know Calgary, back east, all you guys, it seemed like that year was a bit of a blip, and then it just came right back. What we see happening right now is really hard to predict what will happen. But my thoughts, I've never seen the market completely stop. We went from 100 miles an hour to 0. And I think that was most people, right? I mean, 17 deals in February, 0 in March. That's like what happened? You know, like we're all looking at each other. What do we do now? April now, and I'm sure you guys feel it too. It feels a little bit more positive. There's stuff happening. I think people realize that there's, you know, the way that we conduct business right now with, you know, COVID forms, masks, gloves, through showings, taking all the precautions. This is the way this will be for the rest of the year. This is how it's going to be. So our business has definitely changed. I think we have to all adapt with it and just roll with it. This is the new way of business. Let's get back out there. There's people that have to buy, have to sell. Be very cautious on how you market yourself. Don't market yourself as the COVID expert. One agent from Century 21 in Toronto, I think it was, her letter went all across the boards into our council, and it was a prime example of what not to do. She was suspended. She sent out a letter saying that she was the COVID-19 expert in her neighborhood, and that all the market real estate prices were going to crash, and you better cash out now before your house is worth next to nothing. It was all printed. She signed every letter.
Wow.
In her entire farm. You know, that kind of stuff, like marketing yourself as being taking advantage.
COVID pricing, I've heard that one a lot.
It's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
I see people doing masks with their brand on them, right?
Like, I know.
Like, don't take advantage of a pandemic where it's decimating the economy, right? I mean, there's people that have lost their jobs for good. There's small businesses that will never open their doors again. It's devastating. So let's just adapt. Do it the right way, be cautious, and be really careful on how you market yourself. We have we don't do door hangers anymore. We don't do any sort of advertising that would be generic advertising, you know, list with us. Our advertising is a reason for advertising. Always have a reason. If you sold a house in the complex, you have a reason to flyer.
Yeah.
If you sold a house down the street, you have a reason to flyer. But don't just send out generic stuff right now. It's very tricky on where the fine line is, right? Because in 1 second, you could just get blasted online. So be very careful.
That's great advice. I was going to ask you, we had a meeting this morning with some agents. We were talking about navigating with sellers. I guess wanted to ask you, how have your sellers just responded? Have you had people that, still want to come on? Have you had some that wanted to take them off, take a break? How have you navigated with, I guess, giving advice to someone who was ready to list before this hit, but now they've taken a step back?
Yeah, like as soon as the March, I felt like it was sort of the beginning of March is where that started to be really, really bad. We immediately took off most of the listings that we had on the market just because we were, I think we were all panicking. We were unsure of how do you deal with this? How do you have people in the home? Where is this going to go? So we just removed stuff. We put stuff on pause. We didn't let anybody in listings for a while until we found out how it's going to work. And then in the past few weeks, I think people have just began to regain a little bit of confidence in the market. And they've started to call to say, okay, you know what? I think I'm ready. And then we explain what we do to sell homes. So of course, we have these forms that we use, but let's be honest, they don't really hold much weight in the courts. Mm-hmm. But they do make a buyer and a seller and an agent review it, feel a little more comfortable that they've explained the situation to somebody. But it's just a little bit better protection. We can't go through and give everybody a health check, but we can do is just adapt and be cautious about it. So, forms, masks, gloves is all fine. What we're doing right now is we're actually opening up for our listings. So if anybody wants to list their home, I'm trying to steer away from a lot of the lockbox stuff, and I'm trying to be present in most of our listings. So we'll go there, 15 minutes before the showing, turn everything on, open everything up, and step outside. And if they have any questions after, more than happy to answer them. But I think it's just limits the touching. It limits people going through and just sort of being all over the place. As long as everything's on and everything's open, there's not much reason to come through and touch things. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of what we've adapted to with our own listings. Working with buyers has been a challenge because every listing you have to sign a COVID form authorization prior to setting it up. So it's a lot harder, but I get why it's done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's the times we're in. It's definitely, I have, had a few showings, and you can tell the uneasiness with your clients. You got the gloves on, the masks. It's definitely a different time. I wanted to jump back. You said you got into real estate 17 years ago, and if you aren't following Ty and David and their team on Instagram or social media, you need to do that because these guys are awesome. I wanted to touch on your presence, your social media presence. Ty, when was it that you felt, you know what, we need to really ramp this up? We need to make a difference. We need to stand out. When was it in your, I guess, career that you really had that epiphany that you're just we need to crank this up?
You might have seen, like that was probably, I personally, because I only joined David at the start of this year to create the David and Ty Homes Group, but branding and like the word branding for me, the day I met Rohan Sheth is the day that I decided that I need to change branding. That was about 5 years ago. Instagram was just become sort of something out there that you can post some pictures, and video content wasn't that big. And I just decided I want to just smash this. I want to become as big as I can on the online world. And I started, of course, at Sold by Ty, the handle of Instagram. And now it's, I'm referred to that as that when I meet people, when they have me over. Sold by Ty's here. My license plate on my truck is Sold by Ty, my actual handle. I just sort of I've just instilled that brand in my marketplace for so many people. And it's really helped me leverage not to have to explain myself as much. So when I go into somebody's house to sit down and have an evaluation with them, they kind of already know everything that I do behind the scenes. You don't have to sit there and
explain
a 30-page book and tell them, this is what I'll do for you marketing wise. When the wife looks over and says, well, I follow Ty, he does every day. I mean, it's already in the bed. I already have it signed. It's a done deal, right? So, or people call you and say, we can't believe that you're coming over. Thanks for coming over. They're thanking me for coming over. I mean, how good does that feel as an agent, right? So that's the power of online social media, what it's done for myself and Dave and the team over the last few years. I say this to everybody. If you're not doing any kind of video content, you will get crushed in the next year. You will get crushed. You have to transition over to video. You have to get comfortable with it. You have to be out there. Your social media feeds have to put out some really good content, because people are having people over now, and especially the generation of the 20-year-olds to 30-year-olds, when they say, how are you going to market my home? And what kind of power do you have by posting a video? When I look at them and say, well, I can hit tens of thousands of people within 1 minute. You cannot tell me that's not powerful, right? So when you start leveraging the power of your exposure just like that, it'll just explode your business.
Mm-hmm. What do you say to agents? Because, and I'm sure you get this, and I've had people say it to me as well, it costs too much, or I don't have the marketing budget to do it. I say, well, a cell phone and a video is free. Instagram, social media is free. So it really depends on how far you want to take it. But what would you give advice to agents who say, well, I don't have the budget?
Well, you have a budget to create a free Facebook account. You have
exactly.
a free Instagram account. You can buy a $100 gimbal to record some videos that are still. You can buy a $16 ring light that makes your videos look nice and bright, like you're looking at me now, right? Nice ring light. This is $16. You can buy a microphone for $75 to make yourself sound good. I mean, you're talking a few $100 to really make a big difference on video, and just be comfortable with it. There's no big budget spend on being out there, right? It's like David said in the last recording: hold up your phone, hit the red button, speak and yell at it, hit it again, and post it. People like something that's not rehearsed. People like to see some mistakes. We're not robots. I mean, the most viewed videos are probably ones that are bloopers, right? If you ever see a real estate related blooper video, it probably has 10 times the views than one that's just rehearsed, scripted, posted, right? So you don't need a budget to start. My budget, most of my videos, other than my why, it's kind of like your bio, right? You really want to have a fantastic paid professional one video about you. And I labeled mine my why, what about me, why I have so much passion in this business, why I love it. That's one that you need professionally recorded. Other than that, the coming soons, the just solds, the client stories, the testimonials, Mother's Day giveaway. I'm going to do one right in my entryway of my house right after I'm done this, and give away a gift card to a local small shop that creates DIY home projects. Those things are done by just holding up a phone. Right? And it's just being out there. It's important. And the more and more you do it, the better you get on camera, right? And you just have that presence where people will just want to watch it because you have that strong presence. So the budget starts at zero and can end in zero.
What is your mix between business and personal? I know you do put some personal on your pages. Again, it's another topical debate amongst realtors, is you can't just do business, or you should maybe mix in some personal stuff because people get too tired of, I sold this, or this is coming. What's your feel on that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. With Facebook, Dave and I touched on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, you have to have two accounts. You have to. Do not put business stuff on your personal page. You might want to put a nice client story on your personal page, because that's quite nice to have a client story, but nobody wants to see a giant spread of just sold listings. Okay. That needs to be on your business page. Instagram's different. Instagram's everything in one, and you want to have a really good mix. You want to mix it up. I'll have a just sold, and I'll have like 3 or 4 other personal posts or video. So I like to have one video, one personal, maybe a just sold, and a coming soon. I just rotate it like that. It helps your algorithm. It helps the engagement. It helps the growth. I started doing that from about 3,500 followers, and I blew through 10,000 just by changing the way that I word things. I used to have my whole page as real estate and just listed, just sold. No engagement. Following stopped because people don't care. Other agents don't care. Buyers and sellers don't care. The public doesn't care. In fact, it's probably going to hurt you, because the public's going to look at it and say, well, this guy sells too much. He makes too much money. Let's go with somebody else, right? So it's probably going to hurt you. The way you word your just solds are really important. I changed this a few years ago, and it didn't make a dramatic result. When you post up a just sold, make it all about the client. Instead of saying, I just sold this house, 16 offers, 80,000 over asking, still your number one agent in the area. Change it to a way where it's like, congratulations, Steve and Jess. It was a pleasure working with you to find this house. Once you've done the renovation, I can't wait to see it and come over. It was fun working with you for the past few months. Your clients, and tag your client. Your clients are going to see that. They're going to appreciate the hard work you've done. They're probably going to share it on their page. It's going to get triple the exposure instead of you bragging and saying that you sold another house on this street, right? So change the way that you word things, and it'll make a huge difference. I found that as soon as I switched it over to the client experience and being grateful for the client, I also appreciate and tag the home inspector that did a good job. I appreciate and tag the mortgage broker that put together the financing. And I appreciate and tag that cooperating listing or selling agent always in my posts, because they appreciate that too, right? We get paid 50-50. We're all in this together. Why not give a shout out to Randy, who was the listing agent, who did a great job providing access, providing all the information, and making this deal come together. I think when you do that, and then Randy goes out to show houses to 20 houses to one of his buyers, I can guarantee you that he's going to put Ty's listings at the top of that list, because you're going to remember that relationship, right? So this business is all about cultivating and developing these incredible relationships of amazing agents in your area.
Yeah.
It's easier. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. And that's so true, because you see so many agents that just make it about themselves, right? And it's, I sold this and I did this, and it just irritates me so much as well. And again, it's right, you're giving gratitude to those clients, those people that helped you along the way, and I think people will appreciate that. You see so many different forms of videos and social media, and lots of agents doing different things. Do you feel like it's evolving, or do you feel like you're changing, or do you learn from other people that are doing it, or do you sort of just have your plan and you go with it? Or how's your evolution of your social media?
There's no doubt that I watch other people and learn what's working and what isn't working. At the end of the day, the most difficult thing with video and in any business is creating good content, right? So thinking of good content constantly is really difficult. For me, I like to plan things. So I like to plan sort of 2-3 months ahead of time always, and have a scheduled set of things that I want to do with the team. And David and I always plan that. Content's really, really difficult in planning. Video, I think you're going to watch other people and you're just going to sit at home. I mean, the reality is, like anything, just go do it. All right. Like, everybody says they're going to do it. The amount of people that do video, it's still like only 20% of your market's probably doing video. So why not be in that 20%? It's probably even less than that. The people that can consistently do good video in our market share is probably less than 10%. And everywhere I go, I know that, because everywhere I go, if it's a board meeting or if it's some sort of event through the board, I'm instantly recognized. And that's not just because of just sales. That's because I'm online constantly, right? And they're seeing me online constantly. It's a fraction of your marketplace that are doing videos. So stay ahead of the curve. You got to do it. Do video, and just create your own brand. Create your own brand, create your own style of video. If you have a professional that you're working with, just try to create that really good logo, create a good intro, a good outro, feature the community, feature your farming area, and because you'll be one of maybe 3 agents that are even doing that. You work mainly in the Lower Mainland, Langley. Have you ever thought of how far into Vancouver do you get? I know I've seen you doing stuff in Surrey. You don't get into Vancouver really, do you? Do you stick more? Yeah, Vancouver, we would refer stuff in Vancouver. Okay, yeah. Vancouver from Langley is about an hour away. Yeah. So, for me to give the ultimate personal service, I wouldn't be able to do that having a listing an hour away, right? I mean, to go there for a possible listing, open up, do the media shoots, everything. It's if you're an hour away, I'd rather probably just refer that. So I'm really Lower Mainland, this side of the river. That's Surrey, Langley, Delta, White Rock. That's kind of the area that we live. Vancouver, North Vancouver, all of that stuff, we would refer it to our referral partners, which we have some incredible agents that I would just pass it off. I'd rather just get 25% referral and give it to somebody else that's going to do a killer job than me have to worry about coming and going and making that happen, right? I'd rather just concentrate my time locally.
Yeah, and I know you go back and I've seen you do a few in Chilliwack, my old stomping grounds. You've done a couple out there, yeah.
Yeah. More and more people in Langley and Surrey are shifting back out to Chilliwack just because of the value that you get for your dollar. It's a $200,000 spread from Langley to Chilliwack, so people will make that 45-minute commute. It's not too bad from my house. I'm the opposite direction of traffic in Langley, so I will do Chilliwack stuff. It's nice countryside. It's nice out there. I know the product in the valley. Vancouver's totally different, right? You have some overseas buyers. You have prices that I look at and shake my head and wonder how somebody pay $1 million for 600 square feet.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable selling a 600 square foot condo for $1 million, but those agents do because the buyers understand that's the value. So I'd rather just pass it off to somebody that truly believes that that is the market, right? So don't pretend you know something. I mean, if you know it, let somebody else work it. Take a referral because one day they're going to pass it back to you.
Yeah. That's great. Couple more for you, Ty. As you mentioned, you restructured your team a little bit. Tell us why you partnered up with David. I know you were on your own, or you worked with your dad as well. But why the shift here in the past while?
I think so I started when I was young, working with Dad. Very difficult to get into this industry, and I decided I got to really work condos to start working with people my age. So I worked with condos. I worked with Dad. Dad's been in it for 40 plus years, almost 44 years. And I see him now, and he wants to work when he wants to work. Okay. He doesn't want to do showings in an evening. Tuesday at 1 p.m. between nap and banana bread time works for Dad. So for me, I wanted to just become the best I could and be one of the best agents, the best teams, and I couldn't do it all on my own. So I decided, how can I do this to get somebody that's at the same level as me so we can scale this? Because Dad wants to scale back, but yet I want to keep Dad with me because it's Dad and I love him to death, but I want to have him have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and he can work his half a dozen clients that he gets a year, and I can work my 80 to 100, right? But the only way to ramp that and have help is to partner with somebody that's equal playing. And I met David Smith 3 years ago. I'll never forget this. He started a brand that was incredible. He is a sweater guy. The best descriptive word for Dave is relatable. He's so relatable. Him in a neighborhood with families on a swing set, like it's the dad. That's the guy. He's in the sweater that his grandma gave him. He wears shoes that were like, he doesn't give him a clean. He just heads out. He takes care of himself, but he's just a very relatable guy. He's great with people. His slogan was amazing. People over property always. And that was his slogan from the very start, and I loved it. I absolutely love that idea. People over property always. Yeah. Make people first and then sell them a property. So he created this brand, and he made everything out of wood. Absolutely everything he had was wood. He had a square wood business card. His Lincoln is wrapped in a wood wrap, the Woody. So he drives down the street. It's a square David Smith Homes wrapped. You cannot miss it. Yeah. And I thought, this guy's developing a crazy brand. His signs were square wood. His sign post was actual wood. Everything that he did was he had this great brand. So he had an open house on a Sunday, and I jumped in my car. I was driving by the open house, and I thought, I'm going to pull in and introduce myself to Dave. He's called me in the past, asked some advice. He was a new agent. I walk into his open house, and it was one of the best open houses I've ever seen. And people ask, like, well, why was it so different? What he did is he went to a local coffee shop, Black Tiger Coffee, which is down the street from his open house, and he sponsored them. He said to the coffee shop owner, he said, hey, your coffee shop is not in the best location. I listed a townhouse up the street. What if I get some of your coffee, I get some of your donuts, I bring it up to my open house, I sponsor it with Black Tiger Coffee, give away $5 gift cards to everybody that comes into this open house. We can spin it off. how do you find, maybe in your right at your till of your coffee shop, you can have my little business card holder there. How do you find about that? And the owner said, love the idea, right? So I went into the open house, and Dave's got Black Tiger coffee laid out. He's got the gift certificates. He's got these donuts, and it's filled with people. They're coming because Black Tiger reposted his ad, how he was sponsoring the open house. And I thought, this guy's got something. What a great idea. Like, sponsor a local coffee shop, get some great traffic. To this day, our cards are sitting at the till in that coffee shop, and everybody grabs one. He put that coffee shop on the map. That coffee shop and Trading Post Brewery, which is a brewery down the road, once again, wood everything inside. As soon as he walked into the brewery, he's like, I need to be part of this brewery. So we do what's called Realtor Monopoly every year. Dave started it. It's gone like crazy. A lot of people are doing it now. And so that's what Dave started with. And I said to him, one day I can see us working together. I said that I left that open house. I said, you got something here. I love your style. He's in a sweater. I'm in a suit all the time. And then started suits and sweaters and David and Ty Holmes Group. And it's just exploded.
Yeah. And the accent too. You can't go wrong with that.
He's got a good accent that people love.
Yeah.
He's a true family man. He's got 3 kids. He's incredible.
Awesome.
He was a pastor back in Glasgow and locally, and he's just great with people.
Yeah.
So that's what we need more of, right?
Yeah.
The sale, like Dad taught me from the very start, make the people happy, the money always comes.
Yeah.
Make the people happy, the money. Do a good job and it'll come no matter what, right? Just do a good job and it'll come. So that for me was important. Just doing a really, really good job, 120% on every deal. And even if I have to give back portions of my fee or a referral to him or her or whatever it is, like, that'll come back. If you do a job that's 120%, 3 people are going to be told about it and it's going to come back. That's
awesome, Ty. Hey, what's your real life work balance? Because I know that's a challenging one, isn't it? When you're going, our time is definitely demanded of us. How do you balance that? I know you got to go do a giveaway soon too, so I don't want to keep you too long. But how do you balance
the giveaways at my office?
Okay. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, I mean, I've made some drastic changes, and I decided when we created the new team that I would take a day off a week. I worked 7 days a week for 10 straight years. That's not healthy. It cost me a marriage. There's just no way that you can work that much and have your phone ringing off the hook and people wanting you to come over, because in this industry, when somebody calls us, come list my house, it's an exciting thing, right? Our adrenaline's going, let's go to the next one. I don't think I realized what was important in front of me, and that fell through the cracks, and I lost out on that, and I had to learn from that, right? So it's important that we all take off time. I have a day off a week. That's a day off. Dave has a week. Devin has a day off. And then we try to have a weekend half day off. That's the day that we can enjoy ourselves and our families, and just really kind of have it so if somebody does call, I could really just forward the number and either of them could pick up, and the transaction could be taken care of perfectly, because we have team Dropbox accounts, which are great. We have team Trello accounts. Trello is a great client manager account that we use. It's a free app. It's amazing. So at any time, if somebody calls, I could just call Deb or Dave and say, hey, just to let you know, Sean and Lindsay called thinking of listing their house. It's in Trello. They're going to pull up their name, find it, contact info, emails, all their information, so they can take care of it and I can enjoy my day off. You have to take some time for yourself, or you're going to burn right out. 3 years ago, I burnt right out completely. You can't, I mean, this is emotional business, right? You have sellers and you have buyers that are texting you at 11 p.m. Can I see this? Can I see that? Why isn't people coming through my house? It's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
It took a toll on me, right? 3 years ago. And I decided, what is so good about doing 100 deals? My goal on my own was to do 100 ends. I always wanted to do 100 ends or $1 million. That was my goal. Once I did that, I was happy. And I did it. I did it 3 years ago. And I did over 100 ends. I did, good amount of transaction, good GCI. But at the end of the day, I had no life. I think I had 7 lunches, of the whole year that I actually had time for. I missed 200 out of 365 dinners. I had no time to go away anywhere. So what is the point in that? What is
Yeah.
the point in that, right? I'd rather do 75% of that or 50% of that and have more time now, right? So you can't enjoy things if you're buried underground because you just die because your heart explodes, right? So
Yeah.
take time for yourself, enjoy what you're doing, reward yourself, and reward yourself behind the scenes, guys. My gosh, if you're going to go and buy yourself a new house, we don't need to know it. Okay. We don't need to know about your new watch, and we don't need to know about your new Lexus, right? Like, good for you. Keep it in your garage, keep the watch on your wrist, but don't tell people about it and put a post, because 99% of people will never be able to have that.
Yeah.
So respect that and reward yourself behind the scenes. I think that's important, because nobody cares, right? A few of your friends might think it's great, but nobody else cares. So
Yeah.
just be grateful, right?
That's awesome. No, that's great. And lastly, the thing that, and when I connected with you and started following you and started noticing your stuff, the one thing, and I'll pay the big compliment to you, because you are very authentic, you're very real, and when I watch your videos, I see that passion that you have for your clients first, for your business, but I can tell that it's genuine and it's real, and I know that's why you're successful, because it does come through. It is really authentic. So I just want to applaud you for that. Even doing this interview, you have passion for this industry and you have passion for people. So I just wanted to share that with you.
I love it. If you're in this industry and you don't love it, get out. You have to love it. You have to love people, and it's time consuming, but it's very rewarding, right? It's rewarding when somebody calls up and they have tears in their eyes because they're in their first home, or they won versus 9 offers and you were the winning offer, or their cover story won that offer because it was so well written. I mean, this is a fun business that we get to do. We get up in the morning, we get to show people some houses, we get to list houses. How cool is this, right? So I do love it. I do love it. And I think that's the importance of showing, through my Instagram stories, of just the day-to-day and how much work we put into it. But at the same time, it shows, like you say, how much I do enjoy people.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I just, again, wanted to thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your day. And it was great to connect. And again, being that I used to live down the road in Chilliwack, and I've been watching your stuff from out here, and it's been so cool. And it's great to learn from other people. And that's, I think, the biggest thing is we can never stop learning, right? So whether you're learning from agents out in your neck of the woods or here, I think you got to keep evolving, as you said, and trying new things, or you will get kind of lost in the shuffle.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I couldn't say it any better. If somebody invites you on to learn something or a Zoom call, jump on it. Don't turn it away. Jump on it. You're going to learn like just a little tidbit of every single meeting that you do, and it'll pay off, right? I mean, that's what David and I have started doing, these Zoom meetings. You had joined in last week, which I'm grateful for. And now we've been asked to do more of them. So we're creating more content. And I just think if share your ideas, like even if somebody was to copy your idea, people are copying all the time, right? I see posts that are like identical to mine, and they just taken out the word "I." That's a compliment. That's a compliment. Somebody else is trying to replicate what they feel is good. So don't hate on people that are doing something that's similar to you. That's actually a compliment, right? So just keep trying to be a leader at whatever you do, and always know that people are looking up to you. No matter what level you're at, there's somebody looking up to you. So just do a good job.
All right, Ty, thanks again so much. And we'll have to do this again, and continued success, my friend.
We will do it again. Thanks, Randy. I
really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Take care.